Hello. Rick, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can, but I can't see my Facebook screen, so something's not right there.
Shut out Facebook again for political incorrectness.
Oh, is that what you think happened?
Surprised me.
Interesting. Let me just shut that. And I'm live on YouTube, but I'm gonna go back onto Facebook and see what's going on. That never happened before, so you're predicting that's what happened now?
Definitely surprised me. I can see you just fine on Facebook.
You could see me live right now?
Yeah,
Right now, I'm live?
I see it. Can you see you?
Actually, I can. So I'm going back on. Now I do. Okay. So that's the weirdest thing. But okay, that's weird. I'm out. It's off. It's not going to stay live. It's not going to stay live. You'll see. Wait a second. Read this video first. Here now?
I see it, but it's froze.
Okay. So now, go back. We go back to live video. I'm sorry, YouTube, if anybody's on there, because having some Facebook problems, and we're going live again. Well, take two. This is take two. I'm sorry, on Facebook. Sorry about that. Oh, turns it off again. Yeah, there's something going on. Yeah, I'm being censored. I'm being totally censored on Facebook.
Oh, that's interesting. Want to go ahead and have it anyway and just talk, or?
Well, I'm doing YouTube. So in the meantime, I would like you to introduce the topic we talked about earlier, and I'm going to set up Facebook again. I'm going to do, because I think 3 times a charm. So I don't think we should start talking yet.
Okay, yeah, just give it some time and see if you can figure it out.
I'm going to give it a try, because I don't give up on anything. I just don't give up on anything. Delete. Delete. People are saying they like it. What do they like about it? That I have to all? that Facebook is censoring me? What do they like?
Don't fail to miss the next episode of Tammy Live. Is that
Okay, wait a
it?
second. So we're going to try this the 3rd time on Facebook. Let's just see, because I have a feeling, see, Facebook is cutting my screen off. Is that what's going on? Is that really what's happening? I'm sorry for the 2 times I tried to go live on Facebook. So I'm sorry for the people who have to keep trying to find this video again. So, I don't know. I really don't know if anybody is even seeing it. Oh, wait a second. Not live yet. Okay. Okay, let's see if 3 is a charm. Let's just see. Or if, let's see. No, they shut it off. They shut it off. Okay. Facebook is not letting me do a live event. So, what do you think of that, Rick? What?
Check support, or
You know what? Let's try this. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go on Facebook on this computer. Let's just see, because you know what? Nothing surprises me with any of this stuff these days. And the way, politics are working right now, nothing would surprise me. But I'm going to try that on here. So I'm going to try another computer and go right to Facebook and go right to live here. And let's see if that works. Gonna see if this works. And we'll do it all, Hi, everybody. I'm trying this from another computer. Trying it from another computer to see. No, they blocked it out. They blocked it out. All right. I get it. All right, Rick, there's something weird happening. And this is like the second week in a row that we're chatting and the second week in a row that something weird happened on Facebook.
Yeah. Let me put this on speaker just a minute. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. So last week, my audience could not hear you. Let me see if anybody's on YouTube.
Okay, it says here that this video has ended.
Yeah.
You can create your own live video like this one. Well, whatever.
What do you mean?
Oh, that's what it said on there. Okay. This video is no longer available. What happened?
It looks like Facebook is censoring me big time. That's what it looks like.
Well, you're a dangerous character. Can anyone hear any of what we're saying?
I'm on YouTube Live. So right now, yes. You're live.
Let me go to YouTube. Where on YouTube are you?
Rick, you know what? Are we going to have a chat or not?
Let's go ahead and do that. Sure.
Okay, so let's talk about what we're going to talk about. And I'm going to, in the interim, keep trying Facebook because I think this is disgusting. I think Facebook is disgusting to do this. Absolutely disgusting. I do this weekly. I've been doing it for over a year. And this is the second week that I'm doing this with my friend Rick. And now I got shut off of Facebook. I never heard of this before. Never heard of it.
Wait, it's coming up. For me, it's coming up.
What part is coming up?
You said you're trying it for another computer, and then it stopped.
Yeah, because it ended again. They keep shutting it down every time I go live.
Yeah.
So I think we should just talk about the subject we were going to talk about.
Okay, let's just talk about it. Now, this video has ended. Great.
All right, I'm trying it again because you know what? I cannot believe, and I will keep doing this because I can't believe that Facebook is going to shut my videos down.
Well, you're a dangerous person there, Tammy.
They did it. They just did it again.
I know.
All right. Well, what we're going to do is talk on. We're going to talk on YouTube.
We're going to talk about people that hate a lot and how the Wizard of Oz had some books about this. Yeah, go on.
Something happens anomaly, LOL, my day. I see. Okay, so they're saying it's happening to a lot of people on Facebook.
Really?
Yep. They're saying it's happening.
Yeah. Well, what we were going to talk about was the Wizard of Oz books and how they have some kind of relevance to the current situation as far as like haters and stuff like this. Is any of this being recorded, or what's your take on that?
Yeah, we're recording, so let's do that. Let's do it. Let's get into the subject of hate.
Is it being recorded on?
Rick, I just want to get into the subject of hate.
Okay.
Right now.
There was a book, okay, The Wizard of Oz was made into the movie everyone's seen, with Judy Garland, but it was based on a series of novels. The first one was called The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, and that's what the movie is based on. But L. Frank Baum, who wrote this, wrote about 14 other Oz novels, and they were tremendous. They were great. They were as popular with children back then as Star Wars is today. And they didn't have the, color pictures or special effects, but the ideas were really, really brilliant. And Oz was basically a giant playground, a playland for kids with all sorts of fun stuff to do.
So wait. I want you to backtrack 1 second. I ask a lot of questions. Is this this is the sequel, right? This is a sequel to The Wizard of Oz because
one of about 13 or 14 sequels, and probably there's more actually, depending on how you figure it. But yeah.
Okay, because this happens after Dorothy's gone and the witch is dead.
Yeah, after Dorothy's gone and the witch is dead, and then she comes back to Oz because she really likes it there. And I think it's I can look it up. It's number 4, 5, 7 something. It's called the Emerald City of Oz. And just to give you a little background, Oz books were as popular with kids back then as anything is today. And each book had these wonderful, like one place they had a place where all the cakes and donuts were alive, and they'd dance around and sing songs, but they were afraid of us because we humans eat cakes, So the cakes would start with their monsters, but after a while, Dorothy promised not to eat them, and they sang some songs and, did some funny stuff and all that. Another time they meet Santa Claus. Another time they go to what they call the merry-go-round mountains, and they're kind of hills, and you sit on them, and they just kind of turn around like a circus ride. And another place was called, like Bouncing Land or Rubber Land. Everything was made out of rubber, and it was like Trampoline Land. It was just, toys and candy and fun stuff to do. Really harmless. But there was a lot of philosophy that went into this. And like I said, these books were enormously popular back then. Practically no one's heard of them now. And at one point, one of the books called The Emerald City of Oz, they've got this, kind of near Oz, they got this underground land where these really mean kind of dwarfs live. And they, mine jewels and gold, and they're real rich, but they're just, some of them are just really mean-tempered. And finally, the king of the gnomes decides he wants to attack Oz, and he gets this gnome general called Guff to figure out how to do it, because Oz has a lot of protection around it. But Guff hates Oz, and they ask him why he hates Oz. Why do you hate Oz? Why do you hate Oz? And he says, because they're good, and they're happy, and they're contented. And I hate good people, and I hate contented people. I hate people that are moral, and I hate people that are happy.
What was that guy's name? What was that guy's name?
Guff, spelled G-U-P-P-H, Guff.
Guff, okay.
He's one of the big shot gnomes. The gnomes are like little guys that are mad all the time, And he's like number 2 next to the king of the gnomes. And he decides, we're going to go and we're going to mess up Oz. Because they're happy people and they're good people. And I hate happy people and I hate good people.
Unbelievable, right? There's always a hater. Always a hater. Even back in the day.
Yeah, even in fairy tales. So, what is it? There's a lot of haters out there. Some pretty angry people. And what this all gets down to is a talk that me and Tammy had, that some of these real hateful people, extremists on the left and the right, and a heck of a lot of these extremists on the left right now, hate the whole world because they hate themselves. They don't respect anybody because they don't respect themselves. And that's kind of what this book is about. It's a children's book at first, but it gets into a lot of philosophical stuff. Can anyone hear this? Are you getting any feedback?
No.
Okay. So I don't know if any of this is going to get recorded. Well, anyway, so this gnome guy, Guff, gets these really screwball allies. And the first group, I think, is called the Whimsies, and they're like real muscular giants. They're 10 or 12 feet tall, They got these tiny heads, no bigger than a doorknob. And they're so embarrassed about their small heads that they wear these huge fake masks. So no one will think they're like got small heads, you know. And there's some other group, let me look it up.
These are all in Oz right now? These are all groups that are in Oz, or these are all groups?
They're on the same kind of world as Oz, but Oz is like a magic kingdom, and it's surrounded by what they call the Deadly Desert, and no one can cross this desert without getting killed.
So these people were living in across from the desert, across from Oz. Okay, yeah. So the gnomes were living there, and the giants were living there.
Lion giants, and there's worse. Guff is, you know, the number 2 man in this gnome kingdom, and he's not dumb, man. He's smart, but he's really evil, and he really wants to hurt people, and he hates all happy people, and he hates all good people. And so he gets another group of allies. They go to this kind of barren mountain area, and he manages to get past some guards there. This big red alligator is the guard, and he jumps over the alligator and says, "Ha ha, I fooled you." And the alligator says, "Oh, you may have fooled yourself, dude, because you're going in a pretty dangerous area."
Sounds like the swamp. It sounds like DC to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Washington, D.C. is what the place is.
So is that the desert? Is the D.C. area?
What's that?
Is it the desert where the alligator? No, right?
No. This is a mountain area. It's a mountain area. These are just great stories for kids. They're just for fun, man. It's like Christmas or toys. It's just for fun. But there's some thinking here. So he goes to this barren mountain, and once he gets in there, he realizes it's the most fantastic city built by magical powers ever. It's a fantastic magic city. And this fantastic magic city is people. It has these creatures called the Phanphasms. Instead of phantasms, they're the Phanphasms. And I got to charge up my phone here. And Guff says, "Hey, listen, man, let's go and mess up Oz, okay? You know."
Wait, which is the magical city? Oz?
What?
Which is the magical city?
This magical city of the Phanphasms is another magical city. It's outside of Oz.
Oh, so there's a lot of magical cities. There's a lot of magical cities.
Yeah, a lot of magical cities. It's like, you know, you go to a big city in Christmas, all these lights and stuff. Heck, that's a magical city, and it's right in front of us. I'm sure New York with the Christmas decorations has a lot of stuff like that. Well, he goes in there, and all he's like the most powerful and wealthy city built by magical power anywhere. And Guff says, "Hey, let's go attack Oz. Let's mess up Oz and steal what they've got." And these creatures say, "Why the hell should we do this? We can make anything we want with magic. We're fantastically wealthy already." And Guff says, "Hey, we can go in there and we got a chance to hurt some innocent people. We can, you know, do bad things to good people, because I hate happy people and I hate good people." And all these creatures, and so he said, "What about that?" And these evil magicians say, "Hey, you got a point there, dude. Now you've got a point, you know."
What's the point?
The point is, in spite of all their magical powers, they still want to take off and hurt good people and happy people. They hate good people and happy people. They want to go there and cause some trouble, you know.
Okay, so backtrack, Rick, because I'm getting confused. Okay, if I'm getting confused, anybody that's listening to this is going to get confused.
Sure.
Okay, so there's these gnomes and these giants, and they live outside Oz, and they want to take over. Who are the people that want to take over Oz?
The first group are the giants. This group we're talking about now are the evil magicians.
Okay, so there's 3 groups. There's evil magicians.
Yeah.
There's dwarfs, and there's giants.
Right, and giants.
Okay, so I just want to interject. So from what I understand, in all of these spiritual cults, they need magicians, and they need people that act bigger than life, that are giants, and the dwarfs are the sheep. So this is basically a documentary. Keep going.
Okay, yeah, I hadn't thought about that. The dwarf, yeah, it is a documentary. They need giants, It's dwarfs, and that's the average Joe sheeple, you know.
Yep, the little
And,
dwarfs.
what?
The dwarfs.
The dwarfs, and then you need the magicians, you know, the father figure with magical powers, you know, like.
Now, the magicians, are they evil?
Oh yes, these magicians are really evil. And they say, look, what can you offer us? Why should we go off to Oz? We can do anything we want in this magical city. And then the Gnome King says, well, consider this. You can go there, and I hate good people. I hate happy people. We can go in there and cause trouble for happy people and good people. And these evil magicians say, you got us there, dude. You got us there, dude.
They just want to cause evil havoc. Is that it?
What's that?
They just want to cause havoc.
Exactly. So you got us there, dude. We're in, man. Chance to hurt some innocent people. Chance to hurt happy people and good people. We're in. You got us there, dude.
Slow down 1 second, Rick, because okay, I thought we were going to be on Facebook, but we're not.
Are we on YouTube? And if so, where?
Okay, I'm going to tell you after we get recorded.
Okay, yeah. And so anyway, he gets a third group of creatures that are very strong, sort of like the giants. They're not as big, but very strong. They can throw an elephant a mile or something. And they all join. They're led by this dwarf. Now, every one of these guys intends to rip off Oz. The herbs are so rich they don't even need the money. They just want to cause trouble. The giants want to steal the money and make all the people in Oz slaves. This other group of real strong creatures, they want to do the same thing. But the evil magicians just want to cause pain. And they all intend to double cross each other, and they all intend to shoot or kill the gnome, this gnome general, this dwarf general. They all intend to kill him too, man. Everyone intends to double cross everyone else.
So, okay, so let me just get this straight. They're all criminals, basically, except maybe the gnomes or the dwarfs criminals too?
Not all the dwarfs, but this one sure is.
Okay, so the magicians are criminals, the giants are criminals, and the dwarfs are being used. But really, they're all against each other, and they're all evil, and they all are either sheep, which are just following the pack, which are the dwarfs, or the other two groups, which will just do anything because they like hurting people.
Exactly.
Okay.
Guff, okay, this is the thing I've been getting, trying to say a couple of times. A lot of these people hate the world, hate themselves. They hate themselves and they hate the world. They don't respect anybody else.
Why do they hate everything?
Well, it's a long story. I thought you might know, but what I've seen, and I've seen this, what's in this book in the real world, people that hate themselves hate the real world. And I knew some police officers. I don't like police officers. I wasn't a criminal, but I talked to them about what the hell's wrong with some of these kids. And the cops said, if the kid ain't valued when he's young, he won't value himself. If he doesn't,
because some people get therapy and they change.
Right. Well, yeah, because there's exceptions, but if the person doesn't value himself, and a lot of that's because he was devalued constantly as a child, if he doesn't value himself, then he won't value anybody else.
I just told you that's not true.
Yeah, okay. Well, at any rate, there are probably some people that at deep level don't value themselves for whatever reason.
Okay, so that's another point. 1 second. So now, okay, so we're talking about self-hatred now, but that's a whole different story. So so some people have bad childhoods, okay? They get help. They could turn their lives around. So that's a bunch of BS, because that you're putting a death sentence on anybody who came from a bad childhood. And I'm going to tell you right now, that is false. People can change. The only ones that can change are vampires, okay? So are you a vampire or a person is the question I have to ask.
Yeah, vampires are people addicted to vampirism, or something. People that, by vampires, what do you mean? Like just predators,
People that are predators. People that hurt other people, live off of other people. suck the life out of other people.
Mm-hmm. People that dictators on the left or the right, man. Yeah. Well, in this story, all these monsters, they can't get across the deadly desert to go and mess up Oz. And again, it's a great scene where these evil magicians said, look, we're rich. What can you offer us that we don't already have? You got the chance to hurt happy people and good people. And the chief evil magician says, you got us there, dude. We're in. We're there, dude. We're there. And they go to this, and they tunnel under the deadly desert to get to Oz. But there's a surprise waiting for them.
So let's just back up because, we're a little jumping all over the place. Okay, so we're talking about a sequel to The Wizard of Oz. And we're talking about some of the things that were going on after Dorothy left. Rick, is that your background noise? Because I'm going to have to mute you if you are.
No, I was moving around. I'll cut that out. I'm sorry. Go on, please. Go
okay,
on.
So, and I just want to okay, I'm gonna mute your phone. I'm gonna have to.
Okay, the noise will stop. Okay, go on.
If you're gonna have background noise, yeah. If you're gonna have background noise, I'm gonna shut it.
Mm.
So, I'm finding out right now on Facebook that this is happening to everybody right now. So I don't know what's going on Facebook. So we're just getting into a story about a sequel of The Wizard of Oz. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is because it's about hatred. And it's about magicians, dwarfs, and giants. And to me, it reminds me of a spiritual community where they use magicians to cause black magic. They use giants to have people that look like they're bigger than life. And they use dwarfs as the common people that just show up.
Like celebrities or leaders or something.
Those are the giants, basically. And they wear masks, right?
Yeah, the ones with the tiny heads and the big fake masks. And the magicians are the manipulators, whatever, bankers, the real behind the scenes guys. Like I'm a Republican, but I understand Cheney was the real president. Because old George W. wasn't quite up to it,
Okay, so I was just telling a story. So Rick, you get me confused now. We're not having a good flow tonight. Maybe it's not a good night. You know what I mean?
Let's see if we can fix it. What's the problem?
So I'm trying to tell my story and tell why we're talking about this particular story. Okay?
Go on, yeah.
And so the reason I want to talk about this is because it really is about hate. And it's been hate since the beginning of time. And hate has been around even in the story of the sequel to The Wizard of Oz. I mean, The Wizard of Oz had a lot of hate too. We all know there was the Wicked Witch, there were the flying monkeys, there were the poppy fields. There were people going to sleep in the poppy fields, right?
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit. Yeah, go on.
So now we're talking about a sequel to The Wizard of Oz that I never saw. And it's even more evil because Dorothy's no longer there. The Wicked Witch is dead, but all these other groups are appearing. And it's always life imitating art imitating life. But whoever writes these books are usually insiders in some way or another. So in this particular episode of the Emerald City of Oz, we're just at a point where the magicians show up on the scene, and the magicians are working with the dwarfs and the giants to invade Oz. Now, Oz turned into a place where it's like a magical city. People are actually happy. The witch is dead, right? Ding dong, the witch is dead. And so Oz is celebrating and doing well. And so there's a plot now to come in and invade Oz. So now what, Rick?
You're right. And it's everyone's happy. It's beautiful. It's colorful. The people are happy. They've all got interesting jobs. They have laughs. They got two good witches. They got Glinda the Good and Ozma of Oz. And plus they got the wizard. He doesn't have any magic. He's kind of a con artist, but man, he's pretty smart, And, you know, the old Wizard of Oz book that said, pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
Right.
You need that in the real world, okay?
It's always
You know?
that. Isn't that what we're going through with the deep state? Every time we're up against something, they pull a FF, they pull an FF, and then we have to divert our attention from what's really going on, like William Barr investigating stuff, but all of a sudden Israel's getting bombed to death, and there's a plane crash, and a helicopter's down, and Venezuela's on fire, and all these other things. So it's like, don't look at the man behind the curtain.
Exactly. There are so many things about the Wizard of Oz, which was written in 1905 or 1901, that are relevant right this second. The field of poppies. We are looking at opiate addiction that's going to kill millions. Someone called me crazy for saying that. I disagree.
Well, we all know that that's what's happening now, Rick. Come on. We know that actually it's the rate of suicide and homicide from opiate addiction is off the charts, that the CDC no longer keeps records on it. No longer keeps records. So because the rate is so high.
You said rate of death and suicide is so high, right?
From opioid addiction.
Exactly. It's a monster, deadly epidemic. And then pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. You need that in the real world, okay?
We need to pay attention to the man behind the curtain and not the distractions.
Yeah.
Okay? We need to. And isn't that like, okay, I just want to jump to the first book for a second of The Wizard of Oz. Toto, the little dog. Because dogs are so in tune with their senses. Pulled back the curtain.
Yeah, the little dog is wise to the game. And notice the first thing the Wicked Witch wanted to do is off her dog, Toto. You know? The one in the real world back in Kansas that really, you know, what her name, Elma Gulch or whatever her name was, Elmira Gulch or something, that wanted to kill her dog. And that's really sick, man. But the dog is the one that's kind of wise to the game, you know?
Right. The dog was the one in the Wizard of Oz, which was the first one that pulls back the curtain.
Yeah.
But now we're jumping into the story that it's the Emerald City of Oz. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is because there's characters in here that just have hate and they want to hurt people. And I want to jump into that subject for a minute, Rick, if we can, and then we'll get back into the story.
I think it'd be a really good idea to jump into it.
Okay, also, if anybody could tell people where I am on YouTube, because Facebook is like, I don't know what, Patty, thanks for being here. I don't know what's going on Facebook. Is that happening to everybody? Or is it just on my channel right now? Boo, Patty. I love Patty from my Facebook page. And she found me on YouTube. It doesn't look like a lot of other people have, you know, or I sent you the message, Patty. I really didn't put it on the whole thread. And Patty said, the Democrats, if they only had a brain. I'm going to go back to Facebook. And,
yeah.
Patty's funny.
The Scarecrow says, if I only had a brain, how many people really need to think that over, man, you know?
Patty said, you two have YouTube pages. Well, you have two. I have, yes, multiple ones. This one's the more active one that I want to get going a little bit. So I want to get people here if possible. So I appreciate it, Patty. If you can help, I'm putting it out there on my live stream right now. But I'm wondering what is going on. They may be looking for a Tammy one. Yeah, if they're on the Tammy one, no, whatever. Patty, is this going on everywhere on Facebook, or am I, you know, cut off right now? Is that what's going on? Do you know? Has anybody else been live today? I'm waiting for Patty to answer.
Or maybe Facebook is running out of processing power to handle this. It takes up a lot of processing to do it. I don't know. Maybe a lot of people are doing this on Facebook.
But anyhow, so let's get back to the conversation. I put it out there on my post. People could see it. We're going to talk about hate for a minute. We're going to just interject in this story because the storytelling is about Emerald City of Oz, because a lot of hate there. There's a lot of hate because Oz is prospering again. People are happy because the witch is dead. And there's people plotting to take over and hurt Oz. Now, I just pulled up some stuff from a psychology magazine today about why hate. Why hate? And it starts with self-hate. It always starts, doesn't it always start with self-hate, Rick?
I'd say so. A person who hates the world probably hates themselves. They hate themselves, or they don't value themselves. And if you don't value yourself for whatever reason, if you hate yourself, you're not going to value anybody else.
Agreed.
You know?
Now, also, people could hate themselves because they're jealous of other people, because they don't think they're good enough.
Exactly.
That's a very large reason for hate for people. I've seen it a lot, jealousy. So jealousy is a self-hatred thing. So then when I want to find other reasons why people hate. So we're saying that self-hatred is the root, firstly. Okay. And then, so self-hatred's the root, right?
Yeah.
But it shows up.
And one novelist, Ayn Rand, talked about envy and jealousy and hatred being pretty similar, and that envy and jealousy may be one of the primary motivations of human beings. Another of my best friend that I've known since fourth grade said he thinks sometimes the two main motivations in this world are greed and envy. Now, I'm a conservative. I'm, opposed to socialism if you can get, but I think there's some truth in that.
I think so too. I really, really think so. Greed and envy, and because it's the root of not feeling like enough.
Yeah, exactly. Some kind of, it's like what they say in 12-step program, a big fucking empty hole right through the middle of people.
Yeah.
And in this great Western movie, Tombstone, there's this really psychotic cowboy, Johnny Ringo. And Doc Holliday, Wyatt Earp, this Kansas lawman in Tombstone, Arizona, asks, here's from Kansas, from Wizard of Oz, the movie Tombstone. Kansas lawman Wyatt Earp says to Doc Holliday, what makes a man like Johnny Ringo? What makes him do the things he does? And Doc Holliday says there's a big empty hole right through the middle of Johnny Ringo, and he can never steal enough or kill enough or inflict enough pain to fill it.
Okay, so hatred runs deep. Okay, we know this. So
hatred what?
It runs deep. It runs very deep. So the thing is this. Now, what I'm noticing in politics, because I'm going to bring it back to the world stage, because it always plays out. We have a microcosm in our life of these things happening, but it plays out on the world stage. So what I'm seeing from the Democrats is that a projection. Everything that they're doing, their self-hatred, they're projecting it all on to Trump haters, to Trump people, and to Trump. And they are Trump haters because they hate themselves. They hate themselves because a lot of them are criminals, and a lot of them have nothing if they don't steal and kill people. What do you think of that?
I think you're absolutely right, and this cannot and it can be not just Democrats or not people that are unsuccessful in life. It can also be super rich billionaire corporate types that are deeply unhappy people.
So I want to just name it then.
No amount of money they steal or pain they inflict is ever going to make them feel good.
So I want to name it. Let's just name it. Not just the Democrats. We're talking about the deep state.
The deep state. There may be immensely powerful globalists that are very unhappy people. and obsessive about some stuff. The father of President John F. Kennedy, Joseph P. Kennedy Sr., was obsessed with status and recognition because he had been looked down on because he was Irish and he didn't come from a rich family, and when he went to Harvard. And he was obsessed with having the first Irish-American Catholic president. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay. But he was half crazy, man. As brilliant as he was in business and in stock market manipulation, he was really a case for a psychology textbook.
Who are you talking about?
The father of President John F. Kennedy.
Oh, Joe Kennedy. So
Yeah,
you know
Joe
what?
Kennedy.
So yeah, so you know, even within good people, and I don't want to trash that family because that's not where I'm going here.
Sure, there's stuff that family has done that really impresses me well. And here's another thing. There's a book called The Sins of the Father. Just because the father was messed up, the kid don't have to be, you know?
Well, you know what? I have seen in families, like the Bush family, like the Biden family, like the Cheney, well, the Cheney family, I don't really know, but all these families, when they're bad, they're all bad. The Clintons. So I don't know if I haven't studied all of the Kennedys enough, but I could tell you I've known, seen Junior. I've read a lot about JFK and Bobby. So I am not going to go there with you with this conversation if you're going to continue there.
Sure, that's okay. I'll back off. That's okay.
So I think that is a good family. From what I understand, Joe might have gotten involved in some stuff. I don't know, but everything I know about that family is good. So that's just me. People could research whatever they want. I heard maybe Joe was a Nazi sympathizer, but from my knowledge, he didn't do anything like the Bushes or like Cheney or like these other horrible families. So you're bringing in a poor example, Rick.
Okay, we'll get another example, but yeah, okay, sure. The point is that some people, okay, the typical idea, like the Democrat, you know, who hates himself, they've been unsuccessful in life, they're broke, they're not liked by other people, but that may not be all of it. It may be some very rich and powerful people hate themselves and hate the world. What do you think about that? You know,
I know that for a fact, and I'll tell you why. I worked for a Fortune 500 company. Okay. I made this guy millions and millions of dollars, in hundreds of millions of dollars. Okay. In the division I worked in. There was not enough models for him to screw. And he was a disgusting cocaine snorting pig. Okay. Now, this is a man who was running a multi-billion-dollar company.
You mean there weren't enough model women to screw is what you mean, right?
Yes.
Oh, boy.
And so the hatred that I've seen in some of these global corporate CEO criminals is rampant. Rampant. Yeah. And it's self-hatred. And I'll tell you how I know it's self-hatred, okay? He had spies. He had models that would go around and just check to see if anybody said anything like even remotely about him. Didn't even have to be bad. It just had to be not what he wanted to hear. And if he found that out, that person was gone and blacklisted. You could even say, I didn't like the color of his shirt today, or, oh, he looked better yesterday, or, so that is a psychopath.
Right, or he needs to eat more vegetables or something. Yeah, he'd flip out over that, right?
Anything. You could say, oh, the shirt you wore yesterday was great. And he would think, well, what does that mean? The one I'm wearing today is not great? Psychopath.
Yeah, and these types, it's like what they say in 12-Step Program or in that movie Tombstone. There's a great big empty hole inside of them, and no matter how much they try to fill it, they can't.
So, okay, so we're talking about the origins of hatred. So, okay, I agree with you in what you said originally. A lot of it does start in childhood with not getting nurtured. I believe that, but people can change. They can go to 12-step programs. They can go to therapy. They could find Jesus. They could repent. They could do so many ways of getting better in this world. So that's not an excuse. There are then the people that never can get enough. They're psychopaths. There's just never enough.
Any addict is a person who can't get enough. Whatever they're addicted to, it's not enough.
So, okay, now this particular CEO was a cocaine addict, okay?
Yep.
And a sex addict. So you're right on the money with that. So any of these people in the Emerald City of Oz, were they addicts?
No, I don't think so. Even though the field of poppies was, I think, something the Wicked Witch cooked up, and this is eerily prophetic. For some reason, writers and crazy people can see the future, and artists can see the future better than normal people, whatever that's about.
I could tell you what that's about. I'll tell you right now. So you're talking about the writers of the time that wrote these books?
We're talking in 1901. A big part of that movie is the field of poppies. And she said, we want something pleasant, something we want, she said, pleasant, pleasant to the smell, pleasant to the eye, but poison, poison, poison.
Look
at how much truth you can read into that. The Wicked Witch conjures up the opiate field. What are we looking at? An opiate epidemic. And what else came out of the hippie, the drug movement thing in the late 60s? All this stuff, man. Far left politics, breakdown of the family, drugs, all kind of radical extremism. Everything weird and disgusting came in that time period, whether they wanted it to or not, a really destructive period. And the Wicked Witch really wants to mess people up and really wants to hurt people.
Okay.
And it looks pleasant. And the two organics in Dorothy's posse there, three of them, the lion, Dorothy, and the dog start passing out.
So I remember the poppy fields in the movie, right? And they just couldn't go on. They were trying to get to what they thought was Oz and what they thought was going to give them the answers for everything they wanted. But something,
and that's another big
Rick, can you let me finish my sentence? You have to be able to do that.
What's that?
You have to be able to let me finish a sentence.
Sure.
Okay. So while they're on their way, obviously, on the Yellow Brick Road, and they're in these poppy fields, they're hit with frequencies, and they all can't go on. They're all completely put to sleep to prevent them from finding out what's behind the curtain. Okay?
Yeah.
So this was all written about what they're doing. The Wizard of Oz, The Matrix, and 1984 are all documentaries. And these were insiders. Now, you say they're writers and artists. Yes, some of them were, Rick, but a lot of these people were actually insiders, just like in Hollywood. These directors don't come up with these ideas. They steal them. And then they use them to present what they're going to do and what they're going to show the general population. Do you know that? They steal ideas. They don't get ideas.
I knew a person that worked in Hollywood serving food to some of the production companies, and they said there was one director in particular who was notorious for stealing everything he get his hands on.
That's what they do. So we're talking about these elites, so-called. I call them the scum of the earth because they're not elites. These are thieves. They're basic criminals. But they've made so much.
Nothing's enough for them, and they can't stop. There's an old Russian proverb. You said you had like Russian ethnic background. There's an old Russian proverb that's kind of rough. Would you like to hear it about what goes to the top?
You could say it, sure.
Okay. Whether the water is salt or fresh, shit floats to the top. Yeah. Look at the kind of scum, and scum is like crud that floats on the surface of water, like soap suds or something, washer. the scum of the earth, they always float to the top of the water.
Well, you know what? You know what's good about that? It can be skimmed off real easily.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it can. I'm pretty sure. You know, when you're cooking stuff and like that stuff that comes off the top, you
Yeah.
just take a spoon because you know what? It makes itself obvious. It makes itself obvious.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in the Wizard of Oz. I mean, I personally think I don't know if it's frequencies, but come to think of it, I hadn't thought about that. One thing about art is subject to endless, infinite interpretation. They don't actually eat or touch the red poppies in this dope field.
No, it's all frequencies.
Yeah, they just go into the dope field and they get knocked out.
Knocked out.
I mean, the poppies themselves, 5 feet away from, aren't going to do anything to you.
Exactly.
You got to eat it or process it or whatever. I don't know. But anyway,
but that never happened in the movie. They just pass out.
They pass out, and they pass out pretty quick. And then, and then the Scarecrow says, "Don't panic," and then he starts yelling and screaming. And then the Good Witch, it's I guess Glenda the Good Witch, or
Glenda's the good one.
What?
Glenda's the good one. I'll be right back. Glenda's the good one.
Okay, taking a break.
No, keep going.
Oh, and Glenda makes it snow. Now, at one time, the dangerous drug cocaine was about the only antidote they had for a morphine overdose. That would be, they could load them up with that, and they'd keep the breathing up. Morphine kills by shutting down the breathing. Believe me, I've seen where it's lethal in a hospital setting, man.
So I want to just say that so snow is another word for cocaine, and when people are like ODing on heroin, basically they need something like a cocaine sort of substance to get back out of that trance.
I know what they use now, probably some amphetamine. I guess they got something called Narcan now that's a direct antidote for opiate poisoning.
Yeah.
But back then, the pharmaceutical stuff was pretty primitive. Now it's deadly, but that was about the only thing they had for a morphine overdose.
Wait, I just want to talk to Patty for a second. Patty, I had to let Midgie out. He's coming back in a second. So, okay. So, yeah. So it's so interesting how even in The Wizard of Oz, they had all the same, they were just telling us what they're doing between poppy fields and snow coming down. And then they wake up from the poppy and then they're on their way back, toward the wizard, on their way down the Yellow Brick Road. But we're talking about a sequel that I never heard about. Where
they had 14 books that were sequels. They were the most popular books for children of their time. Today, no one's heard of them, and they were really good.
You read them? Did you read them all, Rick? Because you're such a nerd. You probably read them all.
And they were really, the first 8 were classics. After that, they were pretty good. And then he wrote about 14. There were another 4 or 5 books, a couple that were written after his death, and I think a couple written by his wife, and even the illustrator for the Oz books wrote a couple.
What about It's a Horse of a Different Color? Is that a book?
No, that's just a joke, you go through. I think that's in the book.
Okay. Oh, it is in one of the books?
Yeah, I don't think it's in the books. In the movie, they got this horse, and they paint him up different colors with some kind of vegetable dye, and that's a horse of a different color. And
Patty knows that. Patty would know that. Patty would know that. So, okay, so back to The Wizard of Oz. They said in The Wizard of Oz, you don't remember. You don't remember. Is that a thing? They had a memory issue going on then?
What are you talking about? About don't remember? What that's real key. But
yes, because I think that they
don't remember.
Was there a part where they all forgot? They all forgot what they were doing.
Right, all the evil invaders, since Oz.
Oh, wait a second. And then, so Patty was like, no, they said it's a horse of a different color in the movie.
Yeah, it's in the movie, remember this horse turns green and then purple and then blue and red, and they say, oh, that's the horse of a different color you've heard tell about.
Yeah, I guess that's the whole show we're seeing now with the 52 genders. It's all part of the story. They didn't leave out anything.
Yeah,
I guess
there's
that's
a lot of kind of weird gender type things in some of the Oz books, but no kid could pick it up or anything like that.
well, but we're looking at it now and it makes perfect sense. Oh, that's just a horse of a different color. No big deal.
I think the lion had some gender identity issues, put it that way. Okay. You know, but
I have no problem with gay or whatever people want to be, but like telling us that there's 52 genders is really confusing. I don't get it, but I don't want to go into that subject right now. Oh, and
another time, we don't want to offend anybody more than we have to, but
so okay, Patty.
Patty
is like, Rick, I want to talk for a second. If I'm talking, you can't talk because then it's like you're talking over me. We can't have that. So Patty watches the movie every year. I used to like to watch the movie every year too. But when you break it down and you really look at this movie and you look at how the witch wants to hurt this woman, this young girl and her dog, and she's actually tripping and she's having a trip, I think, basically. What do you think of the whole scene where, okay, we'll get back to the original story now, the original movie. Okay, she's having a dream and it's like basically a trip for all the people she knew in the neighborhood and they all turn into different characters. What do you make of that in real life?
By a trip, you mean like an LSD trip or a trip out of the body or?
No, LSD, like a trip.
Yeah, it's a journey. Yeah, and in the movie it says, it seems like I've known you guys all my life, but that's not possible. And Scarecrow says, well, I don't see how, you know.
I would say it was an LSD trip, not a trip, because obviously they were trying to portray it as a tornado and her house moved somewhere else. But they were actually symbolizing things in that movie.
Yeah, so I suspect a lot of these writers use the hallucinogens they had back then, like this Amanita muscaria or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. I suspect.
Well, I would imagine they did too, but I also suspect a lot of these people were insiders, and they were using lots of different things because if they were the inside elites of the time, they were they had their hands on all the drugs. Nowadays, the problem is
they had a bunch of people in this elite that could pool their information. This may not have been the work of one guy; it might have been a lot of, I don't know.
Well, when you look at
a lot of symbolism there, you know.
When you look at like Trumbo, right? During that time, they didn't even allow Jews to write. They had so many different writers, and then they took credit for the movie. So, there were probably lots of writers that they stole from. Am I right? They probably stole from a lot of people.
Oh, they stole from everybody. But however they got it, they put together something. There's so much going on. It's a field of opiates, a warning that this is going to kill a lot of people. Then I don't know if the snow or the opiates, the poppy field meant frequencies or something like that. That's one take on it. In the book, the lion picks up this little poppy field and said this little tiny flower came close to killing a big, strong lion like me. And they go, and then they go to see the wizard, the guy that's got all the answers, and he's a con artist. And the dog pulls back the curtain at the end, and exposes that this magician, this guru, this fearless leader doesn't have the answers he claims to. And that's a warning for everyone. If you meet the answer man on the road, go the other way, because you got to figure this stuff out yourself.
So there's a con artist running the show, okay? So we know this.
Con artist claiming to have an answer that's going to solve all your problems. And you know what? pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. Well, the man behind the curtain, that's the number one symbol of our time. Who the hell is really pulling the strings?
But we
You
know this now, Rick. So the thing is, there is a great awakening, and people do know the puppeteers and the puppet masters. We are
I was
naming
just
them.
going to say that there's a novel written called The Puppet Masters about an alien invasion of puppet masters. And another book where a guy is in a mental institution because he saw some strange stuff and he realized the whole world's fake, and he wants to see the puppet masters at work.
And guess what? That guy was writing a documentary.
Yeah.
And so that guy was either an insider. Did his book become very popular or no?
He was a tremendously popular science fiction writer.
What's his name?
Heinlein. He wrote the book for the movie Starship Troopers, but he wrote some very spacey novels early on and then quit writing them. Just like L. Frank Baum had a nervous condition and quit writing some of these Oz books. But in it, the book is called They. And it's about the guy realizes, and he thinks the whole world's against him, plotting against him, because he thinks the whole world is fake. And you find out at the very end that the whole world he's in really is a fake. And their whole game is to keep him distracted. More than anything else, they want to keep him distracted so he won't remember something. There's something really important he's got to remember, and they don't want him to do it.
Okay, so what I'm thinking about these people that are the writers that wrote books that are like mind-blowing because they were so real. They're insiders. I can believe some of these people have visions, but the future that was created by the New World Order and the plan that they had of how to destroy populations and puppets and puppet masters and puppeteers and all of this stuff, I really think you had to be an insider to know some of this stuff. Midgie just walked across.
I think
Midgie walked across.
What?
Midgie just walked across the floor.
Cool. I'd say that's a good possibility. Can I take a 1 minute break and call you back?
Yeah.
It's going to be
Yeah, go right ahead. Call me back. Okay. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on Facebook, Patty. I don't really see a lot of other people. So, Midgie, what is going on? People are saying other people are having problems too, but that's never happened to me like that. Do you think that I'm being like blocked or something? Or you think that it's something that's just a Facebook issue? Or are they just like banning everybody right now? And also, do you like this conversation that we're having? David Harris freezes up. 1 second, Rick. David Harris freezes up sometimes. Yeah, but they kept cutting me off. Like,
cutting you off for what?
Wait 1 second. 1 second. Toto is Midgie, no? So, wait, do you like this conversation though? Do you like this conversation of like the Wizard of Oz and, putting it into perspective of the writers? Good, I'm glad. Okay, so let's continue.
Are people able to hear this, and are they able to respond?
I'm getting a little bit, but we're still not up on Facebook. So let's just continue the conversation and let's see where we go.
Sure. Where are they getting it from? YouTube or what?
Yeah. So let's just keep going.
Okay. I haven't been able to get anything, but I'll go on.
So I know everything's getting weird on social media. From what I understand, they've blocked and banned so many people the last 2 days. Even James Woods. Can you believe James Woods has been banned from Twitter?
Banned from Twitter?
Banned.
Really?
Yep. So
Boy, that sounds like police state censorship.
it sounds like book burning. It sounds like they're getting rid of the voices and they want to change history and they want to rewrite it the way they want it.
Well, that was in the novel 1984. The central character, this Winston Smith, that was his whole job, was to write lies about history all day long.
Winston, huh?
Yeah, Winston, to rewrite history every couple of weeks. They would rewrite the history.
Unbelievable. So they're trying to play out the left, the deep state, call it what you like. They're trying to rewrite history. Again.
Exactly. They had a continual updating and changing of history, just like I've noticed in a whole bunch of Wikipedia articles. Now nationalism is considered a bad thing, and it's always been a bad thing. And they're rewriting history every couple of weeks,
And they want to remove all the statues that have anything to do with history.
Yeah.
It's so crazy, but I do have, okay, this is where I want to start turning the conversation. I have a lot of faith in what is going on right now with William Barr, the AG, and with the president. Like I'm seeing the story take a big turn. Like all of these stories that have all like had these weird stories, weird endings, and but the Wizard of Oz didn't end weird. Dorothy ended up back in Kansas where you live, Rick, and she ended up back home and things were good again. But I'm seeing there's a turn happening. Something's changed. And William Barr is the new sheriff in town, obviously. We all know that. He's not taking any crap from these deep state swamp creatures. He's just not. They could ask him any question.
Trump called Pelosi and Schumer swamp frogs.
Yeah. I don't know if he really did say that, but I saw that. Did he really say that? We don't know.
I can't find you on Facebook, but no big deal.
I don't know if he really said that. I saw Nancy Pelosi wrote that, but she's such a liar. You can't believe it because she said it.
Yeah, she's a liar and an alcoholic too.
Well, she only uses $100,000 a year in alcohol from the flight from DC to LA to San Francisco. Does that mean she's an alcoholic?
Well, she's got a thirst like a burning oil field.
That's a good one.
Yeah, the liquor she drinks would put out a fire in a burning oil field.
Well, they should have used that for the fires in California.
Yeah, I mean, all the stuff she drinks, if they put it on an airplane and dropped it on the fires, it'd fix everything.
Does alcohol make things go more on fire, though?
Well, if it's really concentrated, if it's just like, I don't know what she drinks, yeah, maybe.
She probably drinks 100 proof, and then she might be causing the fires in California. She might be the number one cause of fires.
Because her plane dumps all her liquor over the fires, and it just makes it worse.
Or because she just breathes, and she's like...
Yeah.
So anyhow, I want to just look this to a positive because I really think good things are going to happen this week. I do. I think we're heading into, first of all, D-class is happening. D-class is happening for sure.
What's D-class?
Declassifying the Pfizer. The president's going to declassify all of the documents that are going to show everything that's been going on. Because everything's been kept, classified. What do you think? You don't know what declassify is?
Oh, I think declassifying some stuff, and sometimes it's going to be dangerous declassifying, get people hurt, but some stuff's got to be told,
Well, I'm sure, just like what Barr did with the Mueller report, he blocked out any third party that would be hurt by exposing it. I'm sure the president would do the same thing. And only people that are guilty would be shown in highlighted areas. I trust our president enough to do that. So what do you think of that?
I think the truth should be told.
It's coming out no matter what. It's coming out. And it's coming out this week and next week, I'm pretty sure. And from what I understand from a Q post, they said C before D, which means Comey goes down before the D class. So Comey's going to be arrested.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so he's spitting fire. But the thing he said in the New York Times, I think it was, that Trump takes little bites of people till he eats their soul. I mean, is he talking about what he does? Is that projection again?
That's whatever these guys say they are not doing, they are doing.
And whatever they blame somebody else for is exactly what they are.
Yeah, and
it's like
whatever they say they're doing, they're not really doing, but whatever they say they're not doing, they're probably doing.
You know what Trump should say? I know you are, but what am I? I know you are, but what am I? Like a 5-year-old, because that's how they're acting, like 5-year-olds.
What does a 5-year-old say again?
Like if you say, "Oh, you're stupid," they're like, "I know you are, but what am I?" Do you remember that?
Yeah.
We did that in Brooklyn. We did that in Brooklyn all the time. Like if somebody called somebody a name, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, well, I know you are, but what am I?" So I think something will come out of it. I do. If we arrest the top people at the FBI, it's going to change the whole outlook on our intel and the way we structure everything, because the FBI has been put in place to defend the criminals that are running the deep state. So that in itself will be a gigantic change. Gigantic.
A full tilt revolt against the deep state and the left. We're watching history.
We are watching the destruction of the old guard, which has been criminals running the show for decades. And so I think that they're doing, this has been planned out for a very long time. This is not I don't think the president is flying by the seat of his pants.
Hold for a second. My phone may be dying. Hold for a second.
I'm going to put you on mute for a second. This is not a new idea. They've been planning this for a long time. So what I want to say about that is, wait 1 second. I'm just going to tell somebody where to find me on I'm sorry, where was I? Killers should go to jail. So the thing about that though, with who's going to go to jail, if they just get the FBI, right? If they just get that aspect of it and get the people that they're protecting, if they take down the FBI, it'll change the dynamic completely. So that has to happen first. Then if they find out, which they will, that there has been treason with these politicians, have you noticed a lot of mayors and county executives getting arrested? Have you noticed? A lot of them. A lot. So they're getting, I mean, hundreds a day of people are being arrested. And I think that they have to do this in drops, because if they did a complete, takedown of everyone in the swamp, people would lose their minds. The left would go completely insane. They would lose it. What do you think, Rick?
I think they will lose it. I mean, there's a lot of these types, if they're hit with a lot of stress, or their whole structure, their whole whatever thing is in jeopardy, they're gonna really go off the deep end, I think.
Well, that's why they're doing it this way. That's why they're doing it. Mayors, They're showing the corruption on a low level, and they're taking the players like the FBI who are defending the biggest criminals on the planet. And I think they're like kind of taking the very top of the like the intel and the very low level criminals like mayors and stuff like that to get people used to this kind of thing. I think that's the only way they can do it. Otherwise, the screaming at the sky will be like everybody would have to walk around with earplugs. It would be that insane. They would put themselves on fire in front of the White House. I mean, God knows the things that they've been doing, right? Rick, have you heard about some of the crazy stuff?
No, what have they been doing?
One guy put himself on fire in front of the White House. Women are like yelling out of their vagina. They're wearing vagina clothing. Everything is like screaming vaginas.
Well, that sure makes him believable.
So could you just imagine the amount of vaginas on the streets yelling at every?
I thought we've had that for a number of years, Tammy.
Not to this level. If they started taking down all these swamp creatures, you would be like, people would be swallowed up by vaginas, okay? Literally.
What about Pelosi and AOC?
Well, yes, they're already starting. But imagine if they arrested all the swamp creatures, what they would do.
Yeah.
You got to think about it. So they're doing it with a strategy, strategically taking down certain people. They're proving with the IG report that's going to come out that these texts were sent from the top FBI to do a coup d'etat on the president, and in America, in the USA, that's unbelievable. What do you think of that, Rick?
Well, yeah, I mean, they were trying to take out a legally elected president, and they go berserk. I mean, they've shown themselves to be like crazy.
Crazy. So I just want to now switch off topic for a second. We're going positive, saying it's going to work out because it is going to work out. But I want to know, in this movie, Emerald City, what happens? Does it work out at the end or what?
Yeah, they're very interesting story at the end. Let me ask one more time. So some people are able to pick this up on YouTube or something. So some people are able to hear. So we're not just talking to each other, right?
Yeah, there's like only a couple of people. But anyhow, so tell me about that movie.
Okay, they have this tunnel, and all these criminal groups, these evil magicians, these giants, and the second group of extremely strong people, led by this crazy dwarf from this underground kingdom. They got this underground tunnel under the deadly desert.
Okay, stop 1 second. Underground tunnels. Do you understand what that means?
I kind of wonder. What's your take on that?
These elites are all using underground tunnels for the satanic ritual and pedophilia rings. Okay, that's how they're moving around. Okay, so they use these tunnels in this book. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. We have this underground tunnel, and it's all hot and dusty in there. And I don't know what they do for lighting, but they're all exhausted and tired and thirsty. When they finally get to Oz, they've gone underneath the deadly desert, and they think they're in the clear. They go in there and Oz and start doing what they want to do, which is to hurt good people and to hurt happy people and to steal stuff.
So they really just they get off on hurting people.
Yep, that's their game, and they go in there, and there's a big fountain at the very end of this tunnel that's going to lead them into Oz, and they're all very thirsty. They're all dying of thirst. They go in there, and Ozma or Glinda the Good or one of them has made this special magic fountain. It's got really good water, but there's just one thing about the water. It makes you forget everything. The water wipes out your memory.
Oh, stop.
Yeah.
Fluoride. Okay.
Yeah, right. Fluoride water
Okay. There you go. Continue.
to knock off your memory because
Yes.
fluorides they'll a little dab will do you. Well,
So
anyway,
that's
they
what they're
go in
using
there,
in the fluoride. So go ahead. So they put it in she puts that in the water.
and the monsters, the magicians, the giants, and this little dwarf, they keep slurping up this water, and they turn into innocent little children, just happy and horsing around. And Glenda or Ozma, one of them, takes all these guys, takes them back to wherever they came from, and then they're not a problem anymore because they've been reduced to the level of innocent children. They don't know anything. They've forgotten everything.
Is that
So,
the end?
What? Yeah, that's the end.
The end. So, okay, so I want to say something about that because that's a very interesting ending.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Because the end game for the New World Order is to have everyone a dumbed down slave.
Well, this wiping out the memory with whatever is in that water, that'll do it. A little dab will do you, okay? They're happy, they're dumbed down, they've got no memory because there's something in the water, which might be reason why you want to go with bottled water now.
Well, bottled water, believe it or not, Rick, if you read the ingredients, some bottled water actually say they add fluoride.
Oh, that's great.
So what you have to do with bottled water these days is research online which ones do not have fluoride. And it's hard to find. It's really, really hard to find. And even if there's a few brands out there that don't have fluoride, but I filter my water and I have well water that's really good water. And I use a filter, because, water is so important.
I'd stick with the well water.
Yeah, water is so important. And it can ruin your brain. I was just reading something on Facebook today that, do you know Prozac?
Something in the water wipes out memory. Well, there's another little prophecy for you.
Well, do you know what's in Prozac? What they've been treating everybody for depression? Do you know what's in it?
It's fluoxetine hydrochloride. It's a fluoride hydrochloride chemical, and it's fluoride, and it fucks people up.
Yeah,
man.
it's all fluoride. It's a bunch of fluoride. A big dose of fluoride.
Fluoride breakfast of champions. My best friend's son is on this crap. Speaking of which, let me take another 1 minute call and just explain I'm doing this little performance, and I'll catch him tomorrow night. But here's a call every night. Let me call you back in 1 minute.
Okay. So this was weird tonight, but Patty, I'm so glad that you're here. Are you still here? I don't know how many people are on YouTube, but I only see Patty's conversation. Oh, you're still here. I'm so glad that you're here because that was such a disappointment on Facebook tonight. I was really blown away by that. But I'm going to try to go back to Facebook. Oh, that's good. A few people are watching. That's good. I want to get more people to the YouTube page. I really do. I think this is better. It's not great, but it's better than Facebook. Facebook is a joke. I mean, what's going on Facebook lately is just, it's crazy, but it's everywhere. I mean, I don't have a lot of subscribers here, maybe like 60 or so, because I'm so new to doing YouTube stuff. But, 4 people watching is pathetic. Totally pathetic. But I have to build up the channel somehow, right? I got to get it started. Patty, you're so funny. By the way, I might be coming to Florida next month. And I'll private message you because you might not want to say where you are in Florida. So I'll private message you. And maybe we'll get together. Who knows? Is it hot? It's starting to get warm in New York, by the way. But it's been raining. So much rain. We're just getting so much rain. I made myself, okay, we're talking about water before. 80 during the day. It was like 70 here today. I made this water, but I put all these different like drops of things in it. Like, let me get my stuff. So this is what I put in my water tonight. Because I think that water shouldn't go to waste. I think we should use it and put like stuff in it. Apple cider vinegar is great. Yep. But I can't take the taste of it. So I'm using a little bit of lemon balm lately. I really like that. This one's an interesting one. Sweet worm. Can you see that? Just because we have so much stuff in like the food and the water these days that you have to just clean out. I'll be right with you, Rick. Elderberry. Let me see if I could read that. My camera's so bad on this. It's backwards on YouTube. Elderberry. And what else did I put in here? Like a antiviral. I made a whole mix. And I put like one little drop of iodine. And cheers. Yeah, you have to be healthy. Hey, Rick, we're going to wrap up soon. So I really like the storytelling stuff. Ginger's great. I love having ginger just boiled, like for tea, like a really nice tea, and just boil the ginger, it's so good for you. Oh, we'll wrap up a present for Patty. So this is going to be an interesting week. I really believe we're going to have a very good week ahead. My prediction for this week, Rick, you listening?
Yeah.
And Patty, yeah. I think that William Barr is going to be harassed like crazy by the Democrats because they're fighting for their lives. We know that. And this is their life. These are career criminals. So every time they're screaming for their life. So I get it. I understand. But you know what? If you're going to steal and kill people, there's a price for that. There's a big price for that. So they're going to do their game, and put them down and eat chicken or whatever the stupid games that they're doing. And he's going to start investigating quite a few people. And they're going to keep screaming. And they're going to keep having FFs around the world. And we have to be very, very conscious and careful. But we will be safe and protected. And I'm going to say a little prayer. And I believe the president is going to declassify some very, very important information in the next 2 weeks. And Comey's going to jail. So that's my prediction for this week. Prediction. And what do you think of that, Rick?
I think a lot of stuff's happening. People were revolting against 50 years of bullshit from the deep state.
So what do you think of my prediction?
I think you're probably right.
So that's my prediction for this week. It has to be week by week by week. It can't be all in 1 week. We're now on the offense. So it's going to slowly happen. So you want to say a prayer, anybody? Like just about, I don't know, Rick, you're really not very spiritual, but I think that prayer is real important.
Sure, pray up a storm. Why not? I mean, yeah, sure. If it works for someone, it's a free country. Look, the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which the liberals are desperate to overturn, says absolute freedom of speech, which we don't have, and freedom of religious expression, and no state-established church, no government-controlled church. The Second Amendment is the right to keep and bear arms, and yeah, they got that out here in Kansas. You can buy, they have stores selling legal assault rifles right next to doctors' offices, Yeah. And there's no crime either.
There's no crime in Texas also. Everybody's so polite. No one starts with anybody, anywhere. Because everyone's carrying.
What?
Because everyone's carrying.
Yeah, in a place where everyone's got a gun, you'd be amazed how polite it is. Well, anyway, an armed society is a polite society. Well, anyway, yeah, sure, why not? You got a freedom of speech, freedom of religion. Why not?
Okay, so I want to just say like a prayer. And I would like to say a prayer. And what Patty's point is that the world needs more is love, because we have so much hate and it's self-hatred. These people hate themselves. And this is the part we have to understand.
Exactly.
They are
and
career.
Above all, and if they hate themselves, above all, they hate people that are happy and good, and they are jealous of people that are happy and good. How do I get these comments? I'm having trouble picking that up.
Rick, you know what? Can you let me talk though?
Sure.
Okay, so I lost my my train of thought now. Yeah, that there's so much hate out there, and that what we need is we need more love because of the self-hatred, which is a projection from the deep state onto the good people, onto the president, onto his good people, because they cannot deal with the fact that they have such deep-rooted self-hatred and jealousy, because they know somewhere in their soul, not soul, because I don't know if they really have a soul. They do, but it's kind of like they don't have a conscience. They sold their soul, you know, so they do, but it's sold out, you know. And so it's mortgaged. All right, their soul is mortgaged. So, but they do on some level, on some deep level in their subconscious, they know this, but it's not conscious. So the projection of hate is outward. It's completely outward, and it's projected on to somebody else, and always on to a good person, because that is who they hate the most. People that they're jealous of, because they can't have a good life. They could have a lot of good things. They could have beautiful homes, and they could have gorgeous cars. They could have private jets, but they cannot have a good heart. And but you know what? That brings us back to the Wizard of Oz, because that brings us back to the fact that oh, I don't know how to get Rick back here now. I know, but I don't have you on speaker. Oh, it's starting some feature on my phone here. Yeah, I got you.
I'm on speaker. Can you hear me at all?
I got you now. So it takes us back to the Wizard of Oz. They're so jealous because they don't have a brain and a heart. And what else were they looking for? They needed a brain. They needed a heart, courage. What else did they need? What else do they need, Rick?
Dorothy wants to go home. We're all looking for a home.
A home. So we have career criminals.
Remember that song, you know, a heart, a brain, a home.
Yeah, yes. I gotta try to put this back here where I could see this. Okay. And you know what about those ruby slippers? You want to hear something crazy? I've seen both of them in my life. I was at Lana Luff's house for dinner when I was in my like early 20, like I was probably 20 or 19 years old. I was at her house for dinner. And then later on, I met Liza Minnelli, and I saw the other ruby slipper at an exhibition that was going on, I think in the city, in New York City, Guggenheim or one other place. So I saw both of the slippers. Isn't that weird? I think it's bizarre.
Improved memory. They're safe, harmless, easy, and fun, and we'll talk about it someday.
But we're going to talk about health and staying healthy, because we all need to do that. But we're going to say a prayer now, because that's where I was heading to. But Patty was talking about the ruby slipper, so I had to interject in that. So I'm going to say that Father, because you know we have Mother Earth, but I believe we have Father, Creator. And we ask you, humbly ask you, and we need you. And we ask for your help right now in these really crazy times. It feels almost like the end times. But I believe that we have a wonderful leader who is trying to push back those years and give us more time here to gather good people so people can choose in this spiritual war where they're going. So, Father, I thank you. And we thank you. We come to you humbly to thank you for our leaders that we have that are doing well, that are doing good, that are doing your will, and are trying to help the children and save the children of this planet, and that are trying to expose the criminals. And I want to say thank you. And I want to ask for protection. I want to ask for protection for all of those people who are doing those things at this time, for all of my friends who are trying to just live a good life and trying to peacefully, love other people, show compassion, do the right thing, ask for their protection. I ask you, Father, to protect me and my family and my pets and everything that I have as well, as well as my friends and all of their possessions and their pets. And I ask that you protect America and our country from some of these hate groups that are coming in. We can't have them. We don't have room for hate. We need to get rid of the hate. I ask you to reverse this hate and to turn it into love. Because, Father, you can do anything. So you could take their hatred and turn it into love. Or you could actually do what they did in the movie, in the book that Rick was talking about, and make them forget everything that they came here for, forget that they hate. If they could just forget that they hate, they could go back to just being dumb again. Maybe that's what I need to pray for. God, help them forget. Use their senses of deaf, dumb, and blindness so that they know and don't have any capability of this evil that they're trying to carry out. So we end this evil, God. We take care of this evil by either letting them forget or turning it to love. I pray, Father, for our animals and our planet. We need to keep it green, and we need to keep all of the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful creatures that you've created. All of your creation, we need it. We need it more than ever. Beauty is what we need. Love is what we need. And we need more of it. We need to see more of it. And they're hurting it. So, God, we need you to intervene right now, Father. We need you to intervene and stop them in their tracks from destruction. Boomerang it back onto them. I ask you to bind any evil spirits, God, in your name. Bind them. Bind all the satanic spirits, all the Luciferian spirits, and loose the love and the freedom and the good people back on the planet that we need more than ever. In Jesus' name, amen. So I know that we don't have a lot of religious people here. What'd you think of that, Rick?
I mean, religion's something in your heart. It ain't in a building, you know? And so if people have a belief, that's fine. If they don't have a belief, that's fine too.
Yeah. Well, I'm not asking you to analyze it. I didn't ask you to analyze it.
Sure.
I just asked you what you thought of it. Did you like it or not?
It's a good prayer.
Good.
It ain't in a building, no matter how fancy or how humble. It's personal.
Yeah, I'm with you, Patty. And you know what? I'm a Masonic Jew, Messianic. So I believe in the Hebrew roots of Christianity and Jesus. So it's very old. It's the oldest religion that there is. The Hebrew roots of Christianity, where Jesus is the center, of the Messianic religion. And so on that note, I want to say I love you all. Sorry about all this, interruptions in the beginning. And a lot of this confusion in the conversation with Rick, had a lot of interruptions. I'm sorry. We'll get it smooth. We'll get it going. I'm new to, to doing some of these live events, and Facebook has totally, trashed my videos all night. So I'll end this with I love you all. See you next Sunday, and have a wonderful week. And it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. Enjoy.
We're winning.
We are winning.